Ho ho ho! December is here, and you know what that means. It means that the most well-behaved girls and boys around the world get to open up every single day a door from their advent calendars and enjoy the tasty treat within. Have you been a good child?
I've definitely gone too far this time. Anyway, god damn. Anyway, in this video, I want to show you an advent calendar for developers. What I'm going to show you is a fantastic website that you can go to every day of Advent or December and have a little go at a coding challenge yourself. Folks, in this video, there I am. In this video, I want to show you adventofcode. Let's do this. Oh, this zipper come off. Let me free of your goddamn Santa suit. Shit. Hi there folks, my name is Ben and welcome back to the channel. You'll be glad to know that Santa has indeed left the building. However, on his way out, he did ask me to remind all of you that if you enjoy what I do here on this channel, maybe consider subscribing. And of course, hit that bell icon if you want to be notified when new videos get released. Santa said that. Santa, not me. Santa. So as of making this video, December is upon us. Anybody with a chocolate advent calendar will know the daily treat in store. However, there's something for developers too. There's a wonderful website called adventofcode.com, which is an advent calendar for developers. Every day, a new coding challenge is released to the website for coders to have a go at, to perhaps just flex their own skills or even learn something new. The website is adventofcode.com and it's in the description down below. When you go to the website, the About page explains the whole idea, and on the main page you can see the days leading up to the 25th as they unlock. The grayed out ones currently are locked, unavailable, but the ones down here, 1 and 2, as it's the 2nd of December when I'm filming this, they're available for me to have a go at. If I click into day 1 at the bottom here, the very first day, it has a really cool backstory that's sort of Christmas themed as well to help sort of sell the scenario. It often talks about Santa and his elves and the different crazy mathematical algorithmic stuff that they get up to. And really importantly, the challenges are completely language agnostic. So they just serve up a problem for you and you can solve it however you like using whatever language you like. Which is really cool because it means that everybody can get involved no matter what language or skills they have. You can sign up using a variety of different account types, as you can see right at the bottom of my screen here. GitHub, Google, Twitter, Reddit. This links your account online and enables you to track your progress. So at the bottom of the very first task, I'm going to sign up using my GitHub account. I'm going to click the button. And because I'm already logged in to GitHub on this machine in this browser, it has automatically signed me in using my GitHub account. You can now see at the bottom, replaced is a space for me to input my answer once I've figured it out. And underneath the instructions is a link that says get your puzzle input. If I click it, it gives me a file of the input required to do this puzzle. If it's anything like last year's, most puzzles come with a file full of lines so that you can't just manually go through one by one and do the maths. You have to write some sort of algorithm, some sort of function to compute it all for you. So in the spirit of Christmas, I guess, I thought I would have a little go at day 1 myself. Before I start, I just want to say spoiler alert. I am going to be exposing day 1's scenario, day 1's puzzle to you. However, if it's anything like last year's Advent of Code, then my data file, the file with many, many different lines in, will be different to your data file with many, many lines in, and my answer will be different to your answer. So spoiler alert in terms of the story and the theme and the scenario, but no spoiler alert in terms of the answer, I think. Okay, so let's dive in and let's have a go. Day 1, the tyranny of the rocket equation. Santa has essentially been stranded at the edge of the solar system while delivering presents to other planets. In order to save Christmas and get Santa off this planet and calculate his position and all that other blah 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 stuff, the first 2 paragraphs explain the Advent of Code scenario as a whole, that we need to get 50 stars in order to save Christmas. In day 1's scenario, we're trying to just get Santa off of this rogue planet. We need to figure out the sum of the fuel requirements to launch his spaceship and all of his modules that he's taking with him. We have been given a comprehensive list in the form of my big data file of the masses of all of the modules that Santa's taking with him. So these are the masses of all of the modules in this file. And we've been told that the amount of fuel required for a module to lift off is its mass divided by 3, rounded down, and then subtract 2 from that. And that tells you how much fuel you need for that module. And of course we need the sum of all of those fuel requirements, so we just add up all of those numbers. And each of the scenarios actually comes with a really nice example. In case the wording was a bit complicated, it gives some really nice breakdowns of examples of numbers as well. So for example, if a module was mass of 12, we divide that by 3 and round it down to get 4, then subtract 2 from 4 is just 2. So 2 would be the fuel requirement for that module. Once I think I've figured out the solution, I type the answer into this box here, hit submit, and it will tell me if I've got it right or not. So to figure out my solution, I'm going to use the Kotlin programming language. And I'm going to write my code in a program called IntelliJ. So I'm going to load up IntelliJ and I'm going to hit create new project. I'm going to make sure that I've got selected the Kotlin, so Kotlin and Kotlin JVM, and hit next. I then need to save my project somewhere and give it a name. I'm going to call it adventofcode 1 and I'm going to save it in the adventofcode 2019 folder. I then hit finish and IntelliJ will set up my project for me, ready to go. You can see IntelliJ has set up a project. I'm going to just expand the folder structure out there, and I've got the src folder, which is the location that I put my source code. So src, source code. Source code goes in there. I'm going to put my Kotlin code in that folder. To start with, I need to make a file to write some code in. I'm going to right click the src file, new, and Kotlin file/class. I'm going to just call it main because I'm not very creative at coming up with names, and hit enter. It's created now a fresh Kotlin file for me to write my code in. I have an automatic code snippet set up that if I write the word main and tab, it will create for me a main Kotlin function. This is a place that I can start my code, the main function, the jumping off point for my program, if you like. Inside of my main function, just to make sure that everything is working, I'm going to do a print line to quickly print out the words hello world. I'm going to save, and I'm going to hit the little play button next to the main function at the top. Play, run main kt. That is the sort of the program that I've written. Run main kt. I'm going to hit that. I'm going to wait for a second as it builds. And you'll see down at the bottom, it's just finished running. You can see the words hello world. So everything is working and connected. Great. The next thing is I need to bring in that really important file with all of my module masses in. So I can do a couple of things here. So I can copy all of those lines and put them straight into my code, or I can save all of those lines as a file and put them in my code. And that's the way I'm going to go. To start with, I'm going to copy all of those lines of code into my clipboard, ready for pasting. I'm then going to go to the adventofcode project I've got set up in IntelliJ and right click the actual project folder itself. And I'm going to hit new, and I'm going to hit file. And this is the file that I'm going to put all of that data into. So I'm just going to call it something like data.txt. I'm then going to paste those lines of code, and I'm just going to double check that the first and the last one are correct. So 116287, scroll right down, 116287, go back to IntelliJ, scroll to the top, 148623. 148623, perfect. Okay, so the lines of code, the lines of data incoming match. I'm going to save that file and I'm just going to close it. So now in my project, at the same level as my src folder, not inside of it, but at the same level as my src folder, I have the data file that has all of our numbers in it. Now I just need to read the file and loop through it. So Kotlin is completely interoperable with Java, so we can use all of the Java libraries accessible to us in Kotlin as well, and it'll be fine. So the file Java library is incredibly useful and we can use it. I'm going to type capital F file, and it's going to say that I need to import java.io.file. I'm going to do that by hitting on a Mac, Alt and Enter to automatically import the one that's sort of highlighted red. In there, I'm going to give the file name, and it's just going to be data.txt. So that creates a sort of file object. And actually, I can just use the absolutely fantastic function for each line in that sort of file object, for each line. And what that will do is just read line by line by line that file. In Kotlin, in blocks of code like this, like sort of the looping code or the while code or the let codes, anything like that, the it reference is the actual reference to the individual object in that instance. So it's a string. You can see the sort of IntelliJ IDE has sort of told me it's a string. It is a string, and it refers to the line that I'm on at the moment, and it's going to loop each line in that file and do whatever is in this block of code that I tell it to do. So for now, I'm just going to make sure that everything is working, and I'm going to just do print line and it inside the print line. So I'm saying, hey, please print out it, and it refers to, in this code block here between these curly braces, each individual line. So let's save that, let's run it, and let's hope it works. So there you go. It's run, and I've got loads of lines printed. So 148 was our first line, and 116287. Let's just double check that right at the bottom. 116287, perfect. Every line of code is being printed. So now we're printing out every line of that file, and we can start doing the maths or the logic to start figuring out the answer to this problem. So now that we've got each line of the file printing out, we can work with it. It's in a string format at the moment, so just text. We can't work with that in a numeric way inside of Kotlin, so we need to turn that string, those words version of the numbers, into actual numeric values that Kotlin can work with. So to do that, I'm going to set up a val called module mass. And a val is just a variable in Kotlin, but it is immutable, which means once the value has been set inside a module mass, it can't be changed. Var is the alternative, which is again a variable, but it is a mutable one that can be changed often. And the immutable versions about memory efficiency and performance, but we're not going into that now. So val module mass, I'm just going to set the value to be it, which is our string version of the line, it, to int, okay? I'm going to save that, and now module mass contains the numeric version in Kotlin world of the mass. I'm going to, underneath it, I'm going to just do a print line, and I'm going to do module mass, and I'm going to hit play. And we shouldn't see anything different than we did before, but this is now going to be the, there it is. This is now going to be the numeric value that we can work with. So there it is. So the next thing I need to do, the first thing I need to do, I guess, is divide that mass by 3. In the later stage, it talks about rounding down, and that's assuming that we're going to have some variables, which we might do from this division by 3. But because we've set it to an int, when it does division, it's not going to worry about decimal places anyway, and it should already be rounded down, hopefully. So next, I'm going to set up a var called ants, and that's just going to be my answer. This is just a space for me to do some math in. I'm going to do module mass divided by 3. The / is the divide sign, so module mass divided by 3. And then I'm going to delete this previous print line and put it just a bit below. And I'm also going to, let's put module mass with a $sign in front of it inside of quotations for this print line. And you can do that inside of Kotlin. Just put a $sign in front of a variable name inside of like a string, and it will print out the actual contents of the variable instead. So module mass, and I'm going to just put a colon and ants, okay? So I'm going to save that, and I'm going to run that again now. So we should see on the left the actual mass originally, and after the colon, the divided by 3. Again, with no decimal places, it's been rounded down. Let's just, for sanity's sake, check one of these numbers, this 108002. Let's just do that. 108002 divided by 3 is 36,000.6 recurring. If we rounded that 0.6 recurring down, we would get just 36000, and you can see we've got 36000. So essentially, round down phase is also dealt with. Then what I want to do is from answer, I want to -2 from it. And in Kotlin, we can do this. I could have done ants equals ants -2, okay? But this notation, similar to Java, is just, it's the exact same as that. It puts the, inside of ants, it puts ants -2, okay? So ants -2, and let's just delete that print line and put it underneath, and you can see this is sort of how I work. I do some code and I print it out to see if it's worked. So let's just remember the last one, 38762. It should be 38760. Let's run that again. And you can see 38760 because the -2 has happened now. Great. So there is my numbers for each of the modules, okay? Each of the modules' numbers is printed out. I now need to sum them all up, so I need to add them all up. So what I'm going to do, in front of my for each line loop, I'm going to set up another var, and I'm going to call it sum, and I'm going to set it to be 0 at the top here before my for each line loop. And at the bottom of my loop, inside of each loop iteration, so where I have my ants number now, I'm going to do sum plus equals ants. Okay, again, it's sum adding on ants to it. It's just creating a sum of all of those things. So sum is getting created, and underneath my loop, after the loop has finished, I'm going to do another print line. I'm going to type in big capital letters sum equals sum, and I'm going to save it, and I'm going to hit play again. And we're going to see what happens. And you can see a big old number has been printed out, 3412496 for my answer. I'm going to copy that because I believe that that is the answer to my problem. So I'm going to go back to the Advent of Code challenge, day 1, and there's the tyranny of the rocket equation, which I think I've solved now by doing all of the looping through each of the modules, figuring out the mass, etc., and coming up with a sum of the fuel requirements. I'm going to paste my answer into there, 3412496, and hit submit, and let's see what happens. There we go. It says, that's the right answer. You are 1 gold star closer to rescuing Santa, and of course, saving Christmas. It also gives me a link to continue to part 2 of the day 1 scenario. Most days of the Advent for Code come with 2 tasks within them. But I'm not going to carry on in this video because I just want to give you a very, very quick flavor of Advent for Code as a whole and a very quick programming blast in Kotlin. If I head back to my solution, you can see that there's plenty of refactoring and cleaning up that can be done. In here, there's lots of comments, there's lots of unnecessary variables and so on. I'm not actually going to refactor it in this video. It's more of a just quick blast to show you how it could be done. Of course, as you're watching, if you're a Kotlin developer or any other kind of developer, you might see my code and go, ah, disgusting. I could do it far better. In which case, that's great, and I'm sure you probably can. Have a go at Advent for Code and see how you do yourself. And that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching as usual. Hopefully I've explained Advent of Code to you well, and hopefully you're interested in giving it a go yourself in whatever programming language and IDE that you would like to. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And of course, feel free to subscribe to this channel where you'll see more content like this. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Do I show my lips? Is that weird? Perfect.
Damn, it's so tangled. That was awful. There we go. Is that a bit of Santa? Ugh, Santa beard. Psst, I dressed up in a Santa suit. How f***ing ridiculous is that?